This is Newcap News with Brian Lentz.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The NDP government has announced its budget for the year. The 2018 Alberta budget includes more spending, a slightly lower deficit from last year, and a plan to balance the books in 5 years. Achieving that goal will still depend on oil prices and revenue from 2 pipeline projects not yet completed. The budget, as in past years, increases funding for core services in education, health, and community services. The deficit for 2018-19 is expected to be $8.8 billion, a tad lower than the $9.1 billion shortfall last year, and overall debt is anticipated to grow to just over $54 billion. Finance Minister Joe Ceci says that's the price for making sure Albertans won't do without the services and programs they have come to rely on. He says the government is still working to diversify the economy so Alberta doesn't have to rely so heavily on wild swings in revenue. And we will have the full budget story tomorrow on Newcap News.
When you see news happening, let us know. Grab your phone and hit record and become part of the Newcap News team. It could make you $100 richer. If you capture news happening, drop us an email at tvnews@newcap.ca.
For many pet owners, animals are a member of their family, but it can be a barrier for someone involved in a violent situation out of fear that they will not be able to take their pet when seeking safety. As Michaela Henschel reports in this month's edition of In Your Community, the Alberta SPCA not only offers refuge for those pets, but can also provide medical care at no cost.
Multiple studies show a definite link between animal cruelty and human violence. Like humans, animals are sensitive to emotions, and being in a violent home can have a major effect on the animal's well-being. And in many situations, the violence can extend to the animals.
Whether it's the dog's barking too much or the cat's, maybe scratching something, and that it can be an easy trigger as that can result in potentially the animal being harmed. So, it's a stressful time for everyone, and the animals included.
If a woman does leave their pet behind, unfortunately that pet does suffer ill harm, or it's used as a tool to get them to come back. So much like children are used as a tool, pets are as well.
Thanks to a partnership with the Alberta SPCA, any woman or family that needs to access the interval home is able to house their pet at various shelters throughout the province or in a temporary foster home.
So if you imagine having to come into a shelter and leave your pet behind, for some people that's like leaving your child behind. And to know that they're safe and to know that they're looked after and taken care of, that's just one element of stress that is completely gone for people.
Unfortunately, Alberta, Saskatchewan being the 2 highest provinces in Canada for domestic violence, I think that really resonates for us, the importance of having something available for people.
In addition to providing housing, the Alberta SPCA will also spay or neuter any unaltered pets and also provide vaccinations at no cost.
So we want to make sure that the animal has already been leaving a stressful situation. We want to make sure that it's provided with everything that it needs.
Michaela Henschel, Newcap News.
Well, a longtime Lloydminster Region Health Foundation board member is stepping down after 12 years of service. Ryan Craig has more.
It was a day full of emotion as longtime Health Foundation board member and chair David Schneider was thanked by many.
Without the help of Dave and the Health Foundation, we would not have had or been able to provide several of the programs that we have running at the hospital right now.
Thankfulness, I guess, today for all the time that he spent there. He spent a total of 12 years, and I think I was there for quite a few of them.
Schneider was pivotal in the Pioneer Lodge expansion, as well as many fundraisers, including the Hartnell McCarthy Holtby events, which brought a total of $350,000 to the hospital.
To give back to the community, and it's not what I expected to happen. I mean, I really enjoyed my time there. The staff and the board were tremendous, and it was just an honor to be on that board for this long.
Even though Schneider's time on the health board is done, he still continues to be involved in the community.
It's almost I don't know what to say, because I didn't expect anything. I'm a volunteer, and that's what I like to do. I've been on other boards, and I'm still on a board with the Olive Tree, so it's just something I like to do and give back to the community.
Ryan Craig, Newcap News.
Getting into shape is a difficult task for first-time mothers with little spare time. In this week's Healthy Living, Josh Ryan looks at a class that provides opportunities for exercise and meeting new friends.
Twice a week, mothers with children a year-old or younger gather at the Service Center for Baby Boot Camp, a class that gives them a chance to get out of the house and get their heart rate up.
It's a great way for you to get out, get active, get yourself moving, meet other moms, and just have fun.
It's just so nice to have that scheduled something where you know you're going to get out of the house, do something.
It's a difficult period for some after pregnancy, trying to find a balance between old routine and new responsibility, which is why this boot camp is designed to reduce that stress.
Moms can become somewhat isolated when they're looking after a new baby, so getting them out and getting them meeting new people is so beneficial to their mental health as well as their physical health.
I didn't really have other people that had babies around me that I knew, so it was a good way to come here and meet other moms that were having babies too.
The exercises are predominantly full body, with some limitations on extreme running and core movements and a focus on glute and pelvic muscles.
Getting your pelvic floor stronger and thinking about lifting with your legs. You have baby all the time, and the glute bridges are good for the lower body so much as the core as well.
Participants are also encouraged to utilize their little ones to enhance the workout.
Laying baby down while you're doing a push-up and you kind of reach down and baby sees you and it just keeps them entertained, and mom's still there and she didn't abandon me in my stroller.
And while Baby Boot Camp is meant to be challenging, there's variance to allow for anyone who joins.
You saw us, we're all sweating here, but at the same time for new moms, like when I first started, you can make it easier or you can make it tougher, kind of depending on what your fitness level is.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Weather with Gerard Lampa.
Welcome back, everyone. So there's a small window of opportunity. I know some folks have already taken it between about now and 9 o'clock this evening if your travel plans may be taking you west or southwest. Saskatchewan is fine for the next little while until the system crosses into Saskatchewan. Usually when that happens, it dumps even more snow, but we're still on track for our 10 to 15 centimeters by Saturday. This map is paused at 11 o'clock this evening, and Edmonton is somewhere in the middle there, so they're probably light flurries at least by that time, if not before. But let's just put it into motion and see what happens. And of course, even at that hour, you're seeing some just southwest of Lloydminster. Let's put it into motion here. It'll start running, there you go, from 7 o'clock. Yeah, so there's midnight, there's 1 o'clock in the morning. Watch that heavier patch just after 3 in the morning and right through the morning commute. Where does it stop? So even past noon, it's still with us. It stops at 6 o'clock, and there's still some of it lingering around, even though you've got this huge clear area. And of course, all of the cloud cover off that way is there, and still some available to the lakelands. So certainly, we're not out of this by any stretch of the imagination, and some of the heavier wind gusts are probably around the noon hour, approaching 70 kilometers per hour. So it'll be blowing snow. That will affect visibility certainly there. Temperature-wise, and it won't stick, mind you, but if you had to be driving out in it, that's not very good at all. 4 in Vegreville and Edmonton, 3 for Lac La Biche, 3 as well in Cold Lake, so certainly it will melt. 3 around Provost and Macklin areas, but you certainly want to sit this out and let it blow on by before you think about heading anywhere. 2 in Pierceland, Meadow Lake regions, as well as Green Lake, 0 in Isle La Crosse. Let's head across the country. Stop off in Vancouver, 8 and variably overcast. Blowing snow in Whitehorse for -6, -16, with snow showers in Yellowknife. Increasing cloud cover in Edmonton for their +1. -1 and variably overcast in Regina. Mainly sunny in Winnipeg for +1. Let's head to Toronto now, see what's happening there. Overcast for 0. Overcast as well in Quebec for -2. A little hazy, if not foggy, in Halifax for +3 and -1, still with some light rain or freezing drizzle there in St. John's for their -1 and -25 in Iqaluit, a mainly clear evening there. So back to the prairies then, still sunny for a -1, -4 to the early hours of the morning, probably the odd flurry or 2, but certainly as the day goes forward, this model is giving it 6 to 12 centimeters, and still no snowfall warnings issued yet for the Battlefords and area. We'll see just where this leaves off. +1 is what you're aiming for tomorrow, but with the wind picking up all the time. 3 at the moment in Cold Lake, -2 towards the early hours of the morning, probably 1 to 3 centimeters available overnight, and then another 5 to 10 during the course of the day. 3 is what you're aiming for, so again, some of this will melt. 0 for ourselves at the moment, down from 1 earlier, -4 towards the early hours of the morning, and anywhere after 3 in the morning and through the morning commute, expect this to kick in. +2 eventually, so again, some of it will melt off there. And then as we get through Friday, we'll see where we're at about a 22% chance on Saturday for some more of this. Probably Saturday afternoon looks like a good bet. Aiming for 0, so again, some of it will melt off. -2 Sunday, the cold front will be sliding through then. See the overnight low Saturday into Sunday is -9. -1 Monday. Freezing rain, snow mix for Tuesday for +1. 1 on Wednesday as well, +2 on Thursday, and there's a 50% chance again on Thursday for some more showers. We'll see where that leaves us off by then. Brian, back to you for Agriculture News.
Well, farmers are notorious for coming up with a quick fix when caught in a jam. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow discovers some custom-made innovations for producers patented in Saskatchewan.
The harvest screen is developed for saving seed on all makes and models of combines. So you can see we've got Case, Claus, Massey, John Deere, New Holland.
The harvest screen is an easy installer that can save money during harvest. It's the biggest seller for Eastwood Products based in Arborfield, Saskatchewan, just northeast of Melfort. Danny Edwards builds aftermarket products for the grain industry.
Well, most of our products we made because people came to us wanting something and they needed a product to do a job. So we built it, and if it looked good, we went ahead and marketed the product.
Edwards uses traditional media and ag shows to market his creations.
What we have here is a heavy equipment jack, and it was designed for safety purposes in shops. It's made for lifting low, heavy equipment. It's been tested to 100,000 pounds, so it's got a 50,000 pound rating. It's patent, and it meets all North American standards.
Edwards comes from a farming background, but his focus since 2012 is equipment innovation. He has several products targeting the market this year.
One of them is a step that will go in your hopper bin so you can clean your hopper bin out without falling, basically. It's a safety device.
Shows like Agrivisions are a good place for Edwards to display his winches for opening lids and even firefighting units.
So we have an H2O Fire Pro. It's a firefighting device to go on your grain cart primarily, but we use it in lots of other applications, service trucks, side-by-sides, anywhere you want water quickly.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, rugby season is nearly upon us, but for one Lloydminster athlete, his season started long ago. For the third year, Laith McEwen competed with Team Saskatchewan at the Canadian U18 Rugby Sevens Championships in early March. Given that most of the team's members have played together before, McEwen noticed a major change from years past.
Better chemistry with the boys. Lots of them were older, so it kind of everybody flowed, and we were all knew each other really well, so it worked out pretty good, and the coaches were happy with how we competed.
Team Saskatchewan finished the Canadian tournament 4th out of 13 provinces and territories, a placing due in large part to the team's wealth of experience.
Before, there was a few guys who played multiple years, but we all were around 5 to 6, 7 years even, so just the chemistry from the sport in general was phenomenal.
The process of trying out, making the team, and traveling to Burnaby, BC for the games is grueling, but the Lloydminster comprehensive student equates it to one feeling.
It's like Christmas morning when you're a kid and you see your presents and all that whole group, and then opening it with your family. It's a phenomenal feeling.
Now, as a member of the Lloyd Comp Barons team, McEwen and his teammates took to the pitch yesterday, albeit indoors. It's an exciting time for Barons rugby for a variety of reasons. Lance Phillips has more.
With the sun slowly melting snow on the Lloyd Comp field, thoughts of rugby enter the heads of the high school's athletes, eager to begin what's sure to be an exciting season. It's very early, but the differences over last year's team are quite visible.
Actually, I like the athleticism. good athletes. It's a good base. So I would say that was number one. Two, they're pretty attentive. You know, we learned some new skills today. They were paying attention and they applied them. So that would be where I'd start. Is I like the athleticism and the ability to actually be coached.
They're listening. They're very coachable. Last year we had young guys that were they're stubborn. They wouldn't listen to anything the older guys had to say. These guys are willing to learn and they love rugby. Lots of them, this is their second practice and they're telling me they love it.
So lots of young guys are coming out, new guys. I think we have 6 to 7 players who haven't played before.
This is a huge bonus for the Barons this 2018 season. The team's crop of young players need to learn how to play the game properly. And Witrickish isn't the only one who can coach them.
Well, there's 3 of us that are returning so far right now. So that's just 3 leaders and 3 people that have good experience with rugby. So we're doing the best we can to coach and play at the same time.
You know, there's something to be said about to really learn something effectively. You have to teach it. And so we've got guys that have some knowledge and skills of the game. Well, by putting a little extra expectation on them to coach and teach the other guys, not only will it improve our younger players, but it'll also improve their game as well, because they're going to have to think a little bit.
It became evident over the 1-hour practice that the Barons should be a more well-rounded team, and that sentiment was shared by everyone on the pitch.
I think it's stronger in terms of the athletic base. So that's one place where we'll be stronger. And then 2, you know, we really didn't have a full back line for the whole season last year. So what I'm seeing now is we'll actually be a little more rounded when it comes to that back line position. And then the size of the forwards is pretty damn good too. So we've gone up there significantly.
If we get our tackles on everybody, it'll be probably twice as better. In all honesty, I can see us going far, especially in provincials.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.